If you contact our office on a criminal defense matter, what is a consultation going to look like, and how can you engage an attorney for purposes of a criminal defense matter? First of all, if you're charged with a crime and you contact us, if an attorney is available, we're going to try to talk to you about it over the phone briefly to give you an idea of what you're looking at, what the charges are, what the maximum penalties are. The next step is usually we'll have you come into the office for an appointment so we can review your paperwork and talk to you about your case. When it comes down to it, you have two choices when it comes to retaining an attorney. You can retain an attorney for purposes of negotiating a plea, or you can retain an attorney for purposes of contesting the criminal charges. You have to evaluate where you stand with respect to the criminal case and what you need to get to, and whether or not the situation is going to be livable for you if you retain an attorney for purposes of negotiating a plea. If your attorney practices criminal defense work regularly, they're going to have an idea of what is a likely resolution of your case when you're sitting in a consultation with them, assuming all the information that you give them is accurate. A lot of things that will affect the plea negotiations are going to be the type of charge, any aggravating circumstances associated with the charge, your prior record, if there's restitution, if it's a domestic violence situation, if there's children involved, if there's drugs and alcohol involved, what kind of drugs are involved. All of that is going to be factored into the district attorney's analysis when they're making a plea offer on your case. So when you sit and talk with your attorney, you need to determine, oftentimes whether or not a criminal record is going to be a problem, whether or not it's a license suspension issue, if it's a probation situation, if it's a fine, or if there's some other something else that's associated with the sanctions that would happen in a criminal case, and to determine what you need to get to in order to live with the circumstances. Most of the time, you're not talking about a situation where the charges are going to be outright dismissed, although that does happen from time to time. And the only time that that's really going to happen is going to be in a situation where there's a lot of litigation, there's motion practice, something is defective in the evidence, and you're going to get an outright dismissal. So when you get to your attorney's office, make sure you bring your paperwork with you, make sure you have an understanding of your criminal charges, make sure that you know your life circumstances and are able to evaluate what your goals are so that you can determine if this is going to be a contested case where there's going to be motion practice and hearings, or are you just talking about negotiating a resolution on your case.